What's going on, everybody? This is yet another review. This is Queens Season 1, Episode 2. And here we go with this review. I hope everybody enjoyed last week's review. I enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed the show. I'm an avid hip hop fan. I love music, so I will always be into shows like this. And this is one with just a bunch of my favorite artists on there, in front and behind the scenes. So I can't but review this show. Anyway, getting into it. Last week I completely forgot to mention and shout out Fatima Robinson. Fatima is the choreographer extraordinaire, legendary, just iconic choreographer. And I know those words are used so loosely today, but she really is a legend and an icon. If you don't know her from, of course, Aaliyah's work, she choreographed Save the Last Dance. She, has been behind movies like Dreamgirls and, I believe she did Sparkle and, uh, she did the Cheetah Girls movies and has done so many other things. I believe she also did Remember the Time for Michael Jackson. So when you've done with Michael Jackson, come on now. So shout out to Fatima, who's the choreographer for Queens. The episode picks up from where the last one ended, which is 6 months after all the events that got them back together after the BET Awards. It's the Muffin and Queens World Tour. And they end up having a conversation about what they're about to do on tour, all of that stuff. And as you can see, them having a conversation, there's a car that's actually watching them. And then Eric walks up and then there's gunfire. And then we go to the events of the episode. But also through this episode, we see a lot more flashbacks and we end up going back in time to figure out what went wrong, how they got their start, and also what led to them breaking up. And we go to that fateful night back in 2001 in San Diego where they imploded on the stage, as they said. So they're on stage. Everybody's spitting their verses. The energy's on a million. The crowd is great, and Naomi just lets it loose and lets it be none. The nasty bees are dead. The group is done, and she's done with it. After that, you see Naomi, aka Explicit Lyrics, having lunch with her daughter JoJo, and who but the hip hop legend himself walks in, and it's Cameron, and you can see the look in Naomi's face when she sees Cam that there's some history there. And I immediately caught it and I immediately caught what it was, but it wasn't until Naomi, JoJo, and Cam sat together and then JoJo and Cam both ordered their food. They requested the same thing. And it was like the thing that we've seen several times before when, there potentially is a family link, it sounds the same, it looks the same, they order the same thing, but that's exactly what happened here. And Naomi's face was like, oh man. And I think we all kind of caught what it was like. And I tweeted it too. I was like, there's potentially a toss up between Eric or Cameron being Naomi's baby's father. Muffin is in rehab, does not want to be in rehab. And she is resistant against everything in rehab. She just doesn't want to talk about who Lauren really is underneath Muffin. She wants nothing to do with it. So she completely just wants to ghost rehab and eventually does. We get into Jill finally being happily ever after with Tina, who is, the woman in her life, even when she's married, and the church woman. Tina is the woman who is really who Jill wants to be with, who she's really in love with. And they're in bed together, and then all of a sudden they smell something downstairs. It's bacon. Who but Jill's husband, the preacher, returns and says that he's thought about this. He's had time to think. He's hurt, but he loves Jill. And Jill's like, I love you. I care deeply for you, but I don't want to be with you like that. That's not what this is. I love her and I love women. And he says, cool. I love you, but I love her too. And let's love each other together. Let's be a polygamous family. And that's not what she wants. And sooner than later, she goes to church, and then all of a sudden, she's turned away at her church. She's leaving her church, and the story has been in the press, and it's bigger than ever. She's being followed, harassed, stalked, and all of that stuff. Muffin pulls up on her. She runs for it, makes an escape, because Muffin only knows Jill in Montana. So they both make a run for it, and they go to Bree, a.k.a. Eve's character, a.k.a. Professor Sex. They go out there. Bree is actually preparing her husband for surgery. We know he has a brain tumor that he has to get operated on and then start a different process of trying to live better and trying to recover. And Bree has to be the one to nurse him back to health. And she's also doing these shows and doing these different things to make sure that she has the bread to pay for it, because at the end of the day, this is expensive. And they got 5 kids. Valeria is playing nanny because Bree's mother was too busy. I believe her husband's mother was too busy. So Valeria is playing nanny, and she's playing one of the most hilarious nannies. She got all type of different music on. They doing yoga and different, Pilates and different things like that. It's hilarious watching her be the nanny. And Bree is, trying to come to grips with the fact that she has to nurse her husband back to health, who has been cheating on her with one of his students. You ain't working, but you cheating on me. So that's her whole thing. Is like, I hate you, but I gotta take care of you because you're the father of my children. Valeria is also working with Eric to make sure that she stays relevant because she don't want to be on, different celebrity has-been shows, and he's working to make himself, financially stable and financially relevant again. So both of them have something to gain from the Nasty Bees being together again. And it almost is kind of like what brought the group together, which was them two kind of being conniving and working together and looking out for themselves versus looking out for the entire group. It's still Eric and Valeria as a team. Never mistaken that. Cameron is starting a label and wants to sign Naomi to the label. And he said that her demo landed in his lap. He thought it was dope. He presents her to the label. She's told by the label exec that she's too old. But what I can do is use you for our new girl, whose name is Venus, something like that, or, Tokyo Venus or something like that. And I want you to write for her because she's having trouble writing the album. But she's got 34 million followers, so there's that. Pay attention to the fact that this is how a lot of label meetings go these days. Do you have a lot of followers? How many people know about you? And you can kind of sing and kind of write and you're a visible face. Are you an influencer? If you have enough followers and you can reach a fan base out there, it don't matter if you can sing or not. They're going to sign you based off the followers alone. The same stage they broke up on in San Diego is the same one Eric books for them again. And the promoter actually says, listen, I don't believe you can do it. And Eric says, well, I know that I can because BET put them back on. Muffin put them back on. And at the end of the day, I know they can sell this show out. And he makes a promise that he's not entirely sure that he can keep. He lets Valeria know that. And Valeria goes, to Eric after he reveals that, listen, if I can't make this show pop, I'm going to be in the red for $500K. She goes, at the end of the day, you may not have it. I have it, but we're not going to need it. Bree is not entirely sure that they should be doing a show again. Nobody wants to go back to San Diego. She's like, I got 5 kids. I got a family. Valeria's trying to push them all. Let's go. Let's do this. We only got one shot. We all need each other. And Bree's telling Valeria, listen, at the end of the day, you don't have a family, so you don't understand what this is about. You would know what I'm talking about if you had a family. Valeria looks upset and looks disappointed when she says this. Eric even throws his head down like, man, you really went there. And even Valeria let her know that was cold and that was too low. And what it gave me was maybe there was a baby situation that happened between Eric and Valeria and Bree knew about it. Or maybe Valeria has fertility issues. But either way, it seemed like it was a little bit deeper than just, you ain't got no kids, so you don't understand. It seemed like it cut a little bit deeper than that. Once again, they hit to a scene of the past where I think it was like either the year 2000 or 2001. They're filming an episode of MTV Cribs at a crib that's not theirs, as many crib episodes have been. They don't like each other. At this point, they hate each other. Everybody's broke. Few of them are on drugs, and everybody's out for themselves. And they have to cut and restart the scene again because it shows that they don't like each other. Jill is at probably the height of her drug use, and it's very visible. As a director told her on set, you might want to go ahead and clear that up. Valeria is with Eric and only thinking about herself, and she was like, I'll catch up with y'all in Phoenix once they wrapped it. Bree is completely just, involved in herself, and involved in the finer things in life at that point. And Jill is just lost, and she's also lost because she's not sober, and she's also hiding who she really is. And a production assistant actually asked her out, wanted to show her around, and, wanted to go to dinner with her, a female production assistant, and Jill lost it because she felt exposed, and she kind of felt outed, and she felt like somebody knew the truth. And she was also high. And I believe it was Naomi that, pulled her back and was like, yo, you got a problem and you need to chill because that's not even necessary. Believe after that, Jill, Muffin, the entire group, they're all at the house after Bree's husband comes home from surgery and or he might be in the hospital from surgery. I'm not exactly clear on what happens. But they're back at the house all talking. Everybody ends up there, and even Eric ends up there. And what happens? Oh, Bree's husband comes out of surgery, is okay, makes a recovery. He's gonna need chemo to completely curative cancer. The doctor says your family's gonna have a future, and Bree brings up the fact that he cheated. He doesn't remember a thing. She thinks that he's playing, and they're like, "Yo, you serious? Are you serious?" And he's like, "I would never cheat on you." And the doctor apparently said there will be some short-term memory loss. Muffin is resistant against everything that Jill wants to advise her of. She's being disrespectful. She tries to sneak out of their house and, go to the club, and ends up falling, and she's dressed like a human Care Bear in the process. She looks like a Build-A-Bear. And she ends up, telling Jill, who cares about who you are? It's 2021. And they both agree to stop being scared and kind of, just face their fears. One agrees to conquer rehab. One agrees to conquer her fears about, being who she is in the world with, her lover. Naomi then proves herself to the executive that turned her down because of her age. And it's very clear that this is kind of showing you how the industry goes, and I'm glad that these scenes are there because it's very real and it's very true. There are so many women that don't get chances and don't get shots or don't get restarts in the game, or it's cut off after 35 or after 30. You're too old. And it's so crazy to me that that's the truth of the matter, because you got Madonna out there that is on stages, taking stages and doing albums and all type of stuff, always sold out, and Madonna just reached her 60s. You got Tina Turner, who has been doing it for years, and Tina Turner had a restart and literally had a reset in her career at the age of 44 in her biggest album, and she was touring stadiums everywhere after that and was winning Grammys and all of that stuff when she was solo, and it was just her. So it kind of gave you a message of what it was and what it still can be in the industry and in the game. It's gotten a little bit better, but it is that way, and it's still that way, and it's even worse for black women. So I'm glad that scene came along, especially when the execs are male and they're white women and they're white men, and they don't understand R&B and they don't understand hip hop. All they understand are numbers and followers. So Naomi proves herself to this executive, and then he wants to sign her because she goes and sings Miley Cyrus's Wrecking Ball. I'll never recognize another version of Wrecking Ball after that. Brandy, this is one of the things that I'm so glad about this show. We get to hear her sing, and not only do we get to hear her sing, we get to hear her sing. This also gets me excited about seeing Naturi and Eve on stage again, and all the ladies on stage again, and I really hope that we get some tours individually or even collectively, but I'll take it any way I can get it. I really want to see these women on stage again, because Eve, Brandy, and Naturi, they're needed in the game because they're really, really authentic talent. When Naomi gets the deal from the dude and Cam, the guy goes, "Okay, cool, but you can't be with the Nasty Bees no more. You can't perform with them." And they have a show that week. And he's like, "Okay, well, when is this all going to end? Because I want to distance you from being explicit lyrics, and we want to make you as Naomi the artist." And she ultimately, was faced with the choice of turning her back on the group again, or, being a solo artist that she's been trying to be for the last 20 years. And backstage, we cut to another previous moment in the girl's career, the night that they actually broke up before they went on stage. And Valeria reveals exactly what's been going on, because on the Cribs episode, Jill the Thrill reveals, "Why am I still driving a Corolla?" But you see Eric and Valeria and Benz's is that and the third and all of that stuff. And Naomi's been talking to people, Cameron being one of the people, and Valeria reveals to the group effortlessly, like, "Yo, y'all signed a phony deal. I didn't sign it. We knew y'all signed it. I'm not trying to be an artist. I'm just trying to be visible. I'm trying to be a star. Y'all signed to his publishing company, and y'all pay for everything that we got going on. It's not from the label. What's going on is not being recouped. Is that your money is going to him. It's going to him, and it's going to us. It's going to we. We taking care of each other. I took care of myself, and he's taking care of me. And that's what it is. And ain't nobody getting paid if we not a group, with Valeria receiving the biggest cut." So it seems that this is what the issue has been. Valeria, we were shown back in the day, worked her way into the group, worked her way into Eric's heart. And it seems that Naomi's been pissed about all this ever since. You stole her man, you stole her dream, and you were stealing money. So Naomi's animosity, with her being a diva and her being just completely overdramatic, her anger and animosity towards Valeria is very, very understandable, 20 years or not. Naomi threatens to not show up. She almost tries to sabotage the attempt of them making a comeback, and she ends up showing up. She's the last one that they cut to on the show. You see Jill face her truth, face her church, and say, "You're gonna let me in. This is my church." Bree looks like, she's having a heart to, help her husband and maybe even give him a second chance because she sees how much the kids love him and want to be a family. And also too, what else do we see? Naomi pulls up after it's looking like she's not gonna show up. She shows up late, ignores phone calls, but she pulls up anyway to the show. So it looks like she chooses the group over a solo deal. And at the very last scene, it's that Cameron realizes that ding ding ding, I'm JoJo's father, aren't I? And that's where the episode ends. I didn't think we would get to the gunshot scene or whoever or however that happens this soon. Maybe we'll pick up from where that left off last time, or maybe this will be the event that we're always going to go to and that will finally get revealed at the end of the season. I hope it's not like a cliffhanger or anything like that, because I want there to be a season 2, but at the same time, God forbid if there isn't, then we'll never know. So I really hope that we figure this out, but maybe it'll be the thing that carries on through the season, and we're trying to figure out exactly what that was about. Anyways, guys, what was your favorite part? My favorite part of the show is definitely the music, but also the lessons too, because when they auditioned Valeria for the group, it also gives you a little insight onto how some of these groups get on. Some groups are formed. Some groups are already formed. And male and female groups have had to let people in who kind of had this exotic look, not so much a sound, but an exotic look to help fill out the group and get the signing, get the deal, get the label, and get the money eventually and get the fame. Nicole Scherzinger was added to the Pussycat Dolls. She wasn't an original doll. She was added because that group was already formed. They had been a burlesque troupe and a group for years, and Nicole was added and was the centerpiece and took center stage and led them to the success. It wasn't a hit until she was in. They sold millions, and they're not a group without her. And that's kind of what happened with the Nasty Bees and Butter Pecan, a.k.a. Valeria, joining. And, and it kind of almost touched on the subject of colorism and, beauty privilege, but not so much because all the ladies are beautiful. But it definitely touched on, Valeria being lighter skinned, her being Puerto Rican and not being African American. So it definitely touched on those things, and her being less talented than all the women in the group. But with her, they won, and she was the link. She was the pull. She became the face of the group. She knew she was going to be the face. She knew Eric was going to make her the face. And at the end of the day, that's what the execs wanted, and it made them a hit. Everybody else was talented. She was just the face. And she helped them become a great vehicle to, be the star group that they became because she was the exotic one. And that is the episode. Like I said, my favorite part of the group, favorite part of the show is the music. I love hearing the songs from way back when. We heard Nori, we heard Lupe Fiasco, we heard DMX last time. I don't know if there's playlists for the show on any streaming platform. I may create my own every time that I hear something. Anyways, guys, don't forget to like, rate, comment, subscribe. What was your favorite part of this episode? What are you looking forward to seeing the rest of the season? Who was your favorite character? What's your favorite storyline so far? And what did I miss? I know this is straight after the show. This is right off the dome. So what did I miss? And what storyline and what part are you looking to get into more? And like I said, what was your favorite part from tonight's episode? Let me know down below. Tell a friend, share, like I said, subscribe. All that good stuff is completely free. And I'll see y'all next week for next week's review. Next time. It's late. Later, y'all.